All right, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the CHB Podcast. We're joined with Brodie from Nothing But Action. Long time no see, man. You haven't done a podcast in 14 years.
It's been a while, man. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, no, it's been ages.
No, it's my pleasure because we've been trying to organize this for a bit and just haven't been able to find a date or anything like that. Because you're a working man now, 24/7,
I
doing
know.
your thing.
Oh, working 5 days a week, getting my hands dirty. Yeah.
Exactly. But you're putting down the tools because you're coming on and we're talking about some NBA now, which is very,
I
very
know,
exciting because I haven't heard your thoughts and opinions in quite a while.
mate, you've got me intrigued. All right. There's heaps of stuff I want to talk about. I'm sure
Yep,
there's heaps you want to talk about.
yep. I sent you a couple of trades, a couple of things, and I think we'll dive into them right now. The first one being Donovan Mitchell. I think you thought the New York Knicks were the team he was 100% getting traded to, and then all of a sudden, six teams have thrown a spanner into the works, and I'm gonna bring up those six teams right now. Those including the Miami Heat, Toronto Raptors, Atlanta Hawks, which is a out of the blue one. Like I don't know why the Hawks have come into this. Washington Wizards, Charlotte Hornets, and the greatest NBA franchise of all time, the Sacramento Kings. And that is all being reported by Sham. So the big question is, can any of those teams trade for Donovan Mitchell? And tell me why. Tell me why the Sacramento Kings are going to make this deal happen.
Listen, some of those teams can, and like Sacramento is definitely one of those teams that could do it. Are they going to do it? No, that is not ideal for Sacramento whatsoever. Don't get me wrong, that is Danny Ainge's, that's Utah Jazz's dream to steal some Sacramento picks
Mm-hmm.
and just watch them do absolutely awful in a few years. But I don't see Kings doing that. Honestly, I reckon with Shams coming out with all this, I reckon this is just what in my opinion, I reckon this is a little bit of rubbish. I don't think this is true. I reckon what's happened is that Knicks have, they've put their offer in. It's the best offer that they're clearly getting, Jazz. And now Jazz are seeking out, trying to get a better offer. They're just not getting it. They're trying and trying and trying, and that's why it's taken weeks and weeks. Yeah, I don't see really any of these teams going for Donovan.
Also a ploy to maybe get more picks from the Knicks. Is that a possibility as well?
Oh,
Oh,
definitely. That's exactly like let's be realistic here. If you can like, I'm a Knicks fan and I hate saying
mm,
this, but if you
mm.
could get anyone's picks in the whole NBA, the best, most valuable pick in the NBA would have to be a New York Knicks unprotected pick. All right, like that is just with our track record, that pick is worth so much. And Danny Ainge knows that. He's not silly. He knows his stuff. All
Mm.
right, he's man, like his trades, he knows what he's doing,
Yep.
and he wants those picks. Trust me, he wants those picks,
Mm.
and I'm sure he will get plenty of them.
Yeah, he probably will.
Knicks want Donovan.
I feel like this is a team that I think is going to come out of nowhere. And I think there's two teams that I like out of these six that I've just suggested that I think could compete with the Knicks. Number one being the Charlotte Hornets. I feel like the Hornets are in a situation right now where they could low key be looking to bring in another All Star because they did absolutely nothing this off season except watch Miles Bridges beat the shit out of his wife. other than that, other than that, they are going to be looking to bring in an All Star. That is my theory behind it all, and I feel like they're going to offer Donovan Mitchell a type of deal. And right now, if the Hornets were to turn back and they were to extend Miles Bridges, right, it would be total disaster because honest all the hate that they would get from every single NBA journalist would be out of the question. But something says to me if they were to dish him off to someone else, I feel like the hate would be less, you know what I mean? Like another team would be able to take this guy and the hate would still somehow stay in Charlotte. A little theory that I have. Of course, some of the hate would come with, but the Hornets letting this happen,
I don't
extending
know.
Miles Bridges to that qualifying offer and not unextending him, that's going to be something that remains with their franchise for a couple of years. You know
It's
what I
hard to
mean?
say. It's hard to say with Bridges. Honestly, I think his career is over.
Yeah.
It's hard to get back from what just happened for him. He's in a lot of can we swear on this podcast? Because
I would say so.
he's in a lot of shit. I want to say
Yeah,
that
I would say, yeah,
he's in a
a
lot of
lot of shit.
strife here. I can't see any team wanting him at all. I
Yep.
can't see Utah Jazz, even if it was, like you said, for the qualifying, just no. I just can't see no one. He's like, I'm trying to think of some.
The controversial person.
Yeah, there's nothing. Like, no one wants Bridges. There's
You don't
no
reckon?
way.
I feel like there will be a team or two out there that will wait till it dies out, and they will. Because I remember people were saying this about Deshaun Watson. Remember, and when the start of the allegations came out, and they were like, "No way, this dude's been with like 40 chicks, in the massage parlor, so illegal in America, right?" And then all of a sudden, a year passes on, he sits out for a year, and everyone and their dad is trying to trade for this guy, right? This is the type of situation where Miles Bridges somehow gets away with it, and he goes a year out of the NBA, and then somehow gets brought back in and dominates. The thing is, too, is he's got a qualifying offer right there. So if I'm not mistaken, the Hornets owe that man $7 million no matter what. And whether they waive him or not, they still owe him $7 million. They're going to try and spark a trade. I don't think the Jazz are going to entertain it because they're going to offer Miles Bridges. They probably won't entertain it, but you never know anymore. I think he made like a rap song or something, or one of his friends did, and they said, if Hornets don't offer us the bag, we're going to Detroit. So clearly there might be a team or two interested out there. The other one is
bags,
Washington.
mate. You're going to Detroit.
Yeah. The other one is Washington. They desperately, I think, need to add something, and they have so many assets. I mean, they've just been bringing in a top 15 pick every single year for the last 4 or 5 years. Haven't been developing them right. Probably need to trade a couple. And I honestly believe they could offer Donovan Mitchell a pretty handy deal. Is there anything you could say that? Is that
I don't mind that. I don't mind that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Again, the big thing for Utah that they're looking for is it's clearly draft picks. That's the big thing they want. And again, Washington's probably one of those teams where you say, hey, I would love to have a Washington, draft pick right now, because that team, it always, they haven't been very impressive at all. And you look at that team right now, I'm sure Danny Ainge is willing to bet that even with Donovan, they're not going to do that well in a few years. Donovan will probably want to leave in, let's say 3 years, when he's a free agent, 4 years, I think. He would love to take that chance. But that's the thing. Are Washington really willing to trade their 2027 draft picks or 2029 draft picks? Because they're not going to want 2023 or 2025. They're going to want those really future picks where they could potentially lose Beal, potentially lose Donovan. So they have to have, some sort of confidence in themselves, and they can't trade away too many assets. So the whole point is they need to be able to win games. They can't be losing games.
That's very true. And the thing is too, though, as I was saying with their players, they have a lot of tradable assets right now in terms of, you still got Denny Avdia, who's sitting there. He hasn't even started a full season yet. I don't know, he might have started most of his first season, actually. Rui Hachimura is still there. I mean, he's been moved to the bench. They've got Corey Kispert as well, and that's just 3 off the top of my head. They have a ton of young players they could move on from. And right now, they're probably a 10th or a 12th seed. But if they added Donovan Mitchell to that team, you would think it would start to get a little bit more interesting. And if they keep Avdia, because they moved KCP so they could start Avdia this upcoming season. And I don't know how it would go, because, I mean, you'd have Beal and Mitchell. I mean, Mitchell would be playing the 1, I guess, which who knows how that would go. You'd still have Kristaps. You still have Kyle Kuzma. It'd be a pretty fun team to watch offensively, but defensively, Jesus Christ. That team would be very hard to watch.
It would be interesting. Like, we have seen some sort of flashes from Donovan, regarding his playmaking ability. I could maybe he would have to play the 1, of course. But yeah, it would be hard, especially the lineup, including Donovan, Bradley Beal, Kristaps, Kuzma. You're not going to really have many playmaking ability in that starting lineup. You're not going to have Kristaps passing. He's a hog. It's it's hard. I'm denying all these trades you're saying, but I can't see Washington doing it. I
Yeah.
think where they are right now, they've already signed Bradley Beal to this ridiculous max contract with no trade clause, which I'm not even going to comment on that because I think that is beyond.
Wait, so he can knock back any trade if they want it. If they wanted to trade him, can he knock back them all?
Yep, he's in a no trade clause.
He's a Washington man for life. What is that guy doing?
I don't even want to comment on that because that is ridiculous. And Washington clearly didn't learn from John Wall, and that is a mess. That is a mess with Beal. Don't get me wrong, Beal is amazing, but you need other players with him. You're not going to. So there you go. Maybe they might trade for Donovan.
Yeah, that could be because you say that could be another one that they. I mean, yeah, well, they need to add someone, right? They need to add someone. A player who they might low-key be interested in, which is kind of cool because I saw this and I can't remember if it was an executive or a reporter. You might have seen this floating around too. But if Westbrook gets traded, whatever team he gets traded to, he's going to get bought out, right? That's what they're saying right now, which I still find to be crazy. Like, if I was the Pacers and I somehow got Russell Westbrook in a deal, I would honestly still think about playing him. I mean, who else are you going to try? And, you got to bring in seats if you're Indiana, right? You got to bring people into those seats. And I feel like if you got Westbrook back to his old status in the NBA, he could locate do it. But the thing is, he might be getting bought out. And Washington, I've heard, are one of the only teams in the NBA, if not the only team, that would be willing to give him the starting role. Because think about it, their starting point guard right now is Bradley Beal, and that's just Bradley Beal. I don't, can he play make that well? I mean,
not at all. That's really not his job.
No, not really. So, would you bring in Westbrook if you were the Wizards? Like, would you entertain that offer? Whether is it going to be through trade or are they just going to wait for a buyout? What do you think? How would you go for that?
It depends on the money. I say. I can't see Washington trading for Westbrook, but if it gets bought out, hey, I could for sure see it. Like if we just ignore what happened in LA, Westbrook's been good, man. Like he was good at, he was good enough at Washington. He made them in the playing team. Bradley Beal and him played good enough. He did all right in Houston. He did well in Thunder. He just hasn't meshed well with LeBron. All right, like ignore that. He's valuable on a team. He went, like you said, to Indiana. If he went to Indiana, he would make that team a playing team probably just by himself. But if you mesh certain players with him, like really good star players, then you might have an issue. All right, it's just, but yeah, it's hard. But yeah, I could say I could definitely see Washington for sure going after Westbrook.
If I was Washington, I would sign Westbrook. Make sure that buyout happens, and then target. If they targeted a small forward, that team, I think, would be pretty stacked, especially if it's a good defensive one. I think that would be a really good team because right now, this team, if they were to bring in Westbrook right now, they are better this time around than the last time they had Westbrook. Last time when they just had Westbrook, it was like Westbrook and Beal and like Hachimura in that team. This time, you've added Kyle Kuzma, who's a low-key underrated offensively, I think. Kristaps, which is, I don't know. I know you got big opinions on Kristaps. I think his defense has completely gone out the window at this point. Could still be a factor for them offensively, but they're low-key better than what they were the last time Westbrook was there. So I'm saying if they add Westbrook this time, if people have them as a 10th to 12th seed right now, I wonder if Westbrook changes their opinion on that and makes them actually go a little bit higher. And I feel like them signing Westbrook would actually encourage them to sign another player or two. People forget as well. I think they've still got role players like, I'm pretty sure Monte Morris is on that Wizards team somehow. Like players like that, people don't even know play for the Wizards. And I feel like they low-key could do something. But right now they're being very quiet and very stagnant. So yeah, they'd be a team. I would sign Westbrook if I was them. And you're right about the Pacers. The factor for me for the Pacers is like if they can get in Westbrook, you finally put someone in a seat, right? Like towards the end of the season, they were half empty at that point. But we'll move on from that now. We've had a lot of Wizards talk right now. And let's be honest, they don't bring in the views, do they? So we'll move on to the Knicks. And the Knicks are obviously looking at Donovan Mitchell. That's the main thing. But there has been a bit of chatter recently about maybe even moving Randall's contract still. And I wanted to get your thoughts and opinions on that. What extent would you go to move Randall's contract? 'Cause there's another report here, and this one's by Shams, that does suggest the Knicks could also be interested in Westbrook. But in them bringing in Brunson and Barrett, still being there, and I guess bringing in Mitchell, how would Westbrook mesh with the team? Like, would you trade Randall up for Westbrook, or does that make any sense at all to even do?
So if we were to trade for Westbrook, that would be trading Randall, of course, and that would be trying to just offload Randall, get rid of him. We don't want him, and would be getting nothing in return besides Westbrook. It's not the greatest trade for signing a player to Randall to $30 million a year. He was a all-star last year. You really are selling at his lowest value. It's not a good idea at all, but it's the reason why people are saying potentially that might happen. And there's rumors of Shams and, Mark Stein. It's all coming out. And the reason why that's coming out is because, the Donovan Mitchell, rumors and saying we're going to get Donovan Mitchell. And you look at Donovan and Julius Randle, they are not going to play well together. That's just, they can't play well together. That's just not going to happen. You look at a team of Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, Julius Randle. Randle's probably the worst forward to have with Donovan. Randle's not going to play that role as a Gobert and do, your pick and rolls and your screens. What Randle wants is the ball in his hand. He wants to be in the post. Yep. It really, when you think of a big man to play with Donovan, he's the worst one. And going back to what you were saying about Westbrook coming to the Knicks, he would get bought out immediately. He wouldn't play a game at New York. It's like you said, we've got Brunson, and he's just not needed. He's the outroar of Knicks fans if we actually trade for Westbrook to actually play him, and if he played a game in a New York Knicks jersey,
it'd be a bit weird.
You wouldn't hear the end of it from Knicks fans. They would not be happy.
Yeah, but in saying that though, wouldn't you try and offer Randall for Mitchell to try and make that happen? Or do you think that the Jazz are just not interested in Randall at all? Because they've got no forwards right now. The Jazz, like, they've got like 10 different guards that, because what I see the Jazz doing, and I think a lot of people are starting to theorize this as well, is they might be setting up to try and do what OKC did a couple of years, where they have so many of these veterans and they try and build their trade value up. And in saying that though, you can do that, but what OKC had going for them is they not only had the three good guards that they could move anytime, Dennis Schroeder, Chris Paul, and there was a couple others here and there, SGA, they of course wanted to keep, but they had forwards and centers, Steven Adams, Danilo Gallinari, those type of players, right? You look at the Jazz, it's just like so many guards, Mike Conley, Patrick Beverley, Donovan Mitchell still on that team, Jordan Clarkson, so many guards right now. Why wouldn't they look at a Julius Randle? Imagine if they could build up Julius Randle's trade value again, or at least just have him as, a player to just even help bring in some people into the seats, because he's going to help win some games. He's going to do that. But yeah, what do you think? Is that a thing that the Jazz look at? Randle as a player they trade for Donovan Mitchell?
So before I get into that, I was going to say, for the people that don't know, I'm a massive Knicks fan. I know literally everything about this. I'm all over this stuff. I love it to death. And pretty much Utah, this is coming from Andy Larson, massive Utah Jazz, what's it called? Works for the Salt Lake Tribune, massive. And he's pretty much came out at the very beginning saying they do not want Randall. They do not want a piece of Randall. They could not think of anything worse.
What?
It's
I could think of a lot worse if I'm the Utah Jazz.
It sounds like Danny Ainge does not believe in the Randall train, and the big thing is they do not want big contracts. They just want to get some rookie contracts that are on some really, really long contracts. See, that's why they don't want RJ Barrett. They don't want RJ either. That's a big thing. They do not want RJ because they're gonna have to give him a max contract next year. They don't want to do that. They want rookies that have plenty of years and they do not have to pay them immediately. It's the same thing with Reddish. They don't want Reddish. They don't want They're very picky. They want picks. They want picks, picks, and picks.
You don't think they want Toppin either?
I've heard Toppin. I've heard Toppin in the rumors. The three main plays I've heard in the rumors are Quentin Grimes. That is by far their favorite piece. That's who they want. They've made it very clear. Obi Toppin and Emmanuel Quickley. They are the three young players I've heard. It's probably going to take at least one of them, maybe two, to do the deal. Do you want to hear what I think the deal will be?
Yeah, give it to us. Let's hear it.
So I think
Fournier better be in this deal, by the way. We got to match up contracts. This
works. This is all through NBA trade machine. It works. It's it's fair on both teams. Fair on both teams. You can disagree, but it works.
Okay.
So we're talking Quentin Grimes, which he can. Again, he's probably the best rookie out of those three. Not as in skill wise, but I'm meaning surrounding with other players. You put Grimes in any situation, he can work. He can fit around any player. He's a 3-and-D player. He's, seriously, his potential, he looks like a player that could be potentially a $20 million player. For a player being drafted close to the second round, he's a steal the Knicks got. And I reckon they're going to want Grimes. I'm counting Grimes, counting Reddish, even though I don't think they want Reddish, but we're going to do that for cap reasons.
They could always improve his value and then move him on later on, do a sign and trade if they wanted.
Exactly right. Spot on. All he needs is just a team that believes in him and will give him some minutes. That's all he needs. But yeah, McBride, at Fournier. And then what I think it would be this upcoming year's first round pick, 2025 first round pick, and 2027 first round pick, all unprotected. And then we're probably talking like 2 pick swaps, 3 pick swaps.
I would say they'll probably go 3 just because I think there's going to be a team out there that is going to offer a shit ton of first round picks. But the way that will entice them to go the Knicks way is you guys will have you'll offer up better young players than what the other team probably will. But Jazz have to figure out their guard situation. You can keep all these guards and try and increase their value. But at the end of the day, you're going to be trying to fit Evan Fournier, Mike Conley, Patrick Beverley, Jordan Clarkson, Miles McBride. And there's going to be a couple others that I'm already forgetting. Emmanuel Quickley as well. All of these players you're going to be trying to fit in and give minutes to. And you're going to be seeing nights where Pat Bev is going to be playing 14, 15 minutes. And that's not going to increase his value at all. So they're going to have to figure out what they're going to do with their guard situation right now, because they've probably got right now 8 guards on the roster or something. Do that Knicks trade and you're probably going to add even more to that. And you're going to be seeing dudes like Mike Conley playing the 3 at Utah. It's going to be a bit of a mess. So they've got to figure out what they're doing with their guards. And they should start talking to LA right now, I think. If I'm Utah, honestly, we already know that they're looking to offer Westbrook and 2 first-round picks for a bunch of players. You could probably give up Jordan Clarkson, Mike Conley, and Evan Fournier, get those 3 off, send them to LA, bring in Westbrook and 2 first-round picks. And you're looking at Westbrook, you could also increase his value at the Jazz. And even though you could probably never increase it enough to trade him because that contract's so booty, but still those 2 first-round picks could be sold in the future, all that type of stuff. That's what I look at if I'm the Jazz as well, because you can make that Donovan Mitchell trade all you want, but there's other things that you need to do. And I think Danny Ainge probably has the most on his plate. Give it to me. What do you got?
It's funny you say that because there's a big 4-team trade going around, including the Lakers, the Knicks, Jazz, and Indiana.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to explain the whole trade because I just can't be bothered explaining a whole 4-team trade.
Yep.
But it's pretty much Donovan to the Knicks, Westbrook to Utah, Buddy Hield to the Lakers, Reddish and stuff to Fournier to the Lakers, and just there's heaps and heaps and heaps of picks going to Jazz. It looks good, and I've heard it talked around heaps. It's a pretty big trade going around.
The Lakers would get Buddy Hield, Evan Fournier, and Cam Reddish for 2 first-round picks in Westbrook.
Yeah.
That's actually a really solid move because you could straight up put LeBron at the 1 next season, start him there, and have Buddy Hield at the 2 and Evan Fournier at the 3. Oh man, imagine LeBron passing to those guys. That would be pretty crazy. 8A at the 4. And then I'm telling you right now, Lakers need to sign DeMarcus Cousins. I'm saying it right now. I've been saying this for a while. DeMarcus Cousins has apparently been offered by multiple teams to join them, and he's denied every single one of them because he wants to start. And you know how I know this is a fact? Because the Denver Nuggets decided, apparently, that they didn't want to bring back DeMarcus Cousins, so they bring in DeAndre Jordan. Come on now. DeAndre Jordan does about as much as I do on the local basketball court. So, you know, damn well they offered DeMarcus Cousins a backup contract. So he clearly wants to start. And he would move 8A to the 4. That's what I'm saying. You would make that happen too. You don't agree with it? Don't like it?
No, I don't mind it. It's just AD needs to grow up, man. Anthony Davis needs to grow up and stop refusing to play the 5, okay? It's not a big deal, man. Just play the 5. I'm sick of him constantly sucking and complaining, saying he only wants to play the 4, not the 5. Dude, come on, man. Like,
I kind of agree with him though. Because I think he's better at the 4. Like he won the championship at the 4, right?
Yeah.
With JaVale and Dwight as his centers. DeMarcus Cousins isn't that far off what they were in that year.
It's not too, but didn't Boogie already play for Lakers at some stage?
He never played a minute, but he was on the whole year. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he was there. But I like that 3-team trade. That is really, really interesting, to be honest. Damn. So what would Indiana get out of that?
Yeah, so I can't remember the exact pieces. I'm trying to find it now, but I know what I just said. If you want, Indiana will get nothing, but it was fair. It looks good. Yeah. It's on Bleacher Report.
Wouldn't Indiana go for Cam Reddish? Wouldn't that be a player they'd try and take in?
It could be. Yeah.
Maybe they get Cam Reddish and the Lakers get someone like, I don't know, maybe an Emmanuel Quickly or something. I don't know. Someone like that. They're also saying Dennis Schroeder might be going back to the Lakers.
I've seen that.
That's perfect for the Lakers because they could get him on the minimum and then send out Kendrick Nunn's bum ass who's on a $5 million deal. They could send him out like to try and match up trades and stuff. So that's pretty good if you're the Lakers.
That would be awesome if they could get Schroeder back, and it would not be for much money. I say that much. So if they could get him back, run it back. Like for sure, man. Like he was pretty good at LA, man. He was all right. Like he wasn't worth the money he wanted, but they were still willing to give him a lot of money.
They offered him 4 years, $84 million, and he declined.
A lot of money. Yeah. He got cocky, and look where he's at now.
Because he wanted to start in the NBA. I don't know why he did that, because he was getting offered bulk money to be a backup point guard. And now he's going to go be a backup point guard on the because I would assume they'd start LeBron at the point guard next year. And then, of course, they would go with Dennis Schroeder coming off as backup. So I feel like if the Lakers could do that 3-team trade that you suggested, where they would able to bring in an Evan Fournier, or 4-team trade, sorry, Evan Fournier, Buddy Hield, a player like Cam Reddish, and they go out and sign Dennis Schroeder and DeMarcus Cousins. That could be almost as good as giving up everyone and their dad to get Kyrie, you know? So
yeah,
that's a possible thing as well. A team a point guard that's kind of on the move right now, because no one's really been interested in this guy, and I'm kind of surprised. So I feel like he'd be a good backup point guard. But that is Kemba Walker. Right now, the Charlotte Hornets are the team that is interested in him. And again, that is being reported by Shams. So he's just reporting everything at this point. Do you think he would be a good fit in Charlotte to go play backup point guard to LaMelo?
Listen, if you're signing Kemba Walker to a contract at Charlotte Hornets, I think that's just it's a test run. You know what I mean? It's not a big deal. If he plays average, if he plays crap, if he plays shit, does not matter. All right, he would have a backup plan. He was just if it works out, oh my God, you've hit the jackpot. The exact same thing the Knicks were trying to do. If it worked out, oh my God, you've hit the jackpot.
Yeah.
Because Kemba Walker was a gun, man. He was a beast.
Surely he could be a good shot creator for some team off the bench.
Oh, for sure, man. Off the bench, I think that's his. That could be his new bread and butter. Let's not forget how insane of a player he is. Being able to create his own shot. He's He's so small, but man, you give him the ball, he will drive to he's a freak. He is really good. Sorry, was really
Was,
good.
yeah. Yeah, I feel like even a team like the Lakers, as I said, Dennis Schroeder was an option for them. They could look at Kemba as well. Kemba could honestly do a very similar job to what Dennis Schroeder could. Both of them are going to be piss poor on defense. They're not going to try. They're not going to do anything. But at least they'll be coming off as your backup point guard on the minimum. Not exactly a big contract. And they'll be better than whatever they've got going off the bench right now. So, I mean, the Lakers bench is it's pretty piss poor at the moment, I think.
Oh, it's rubbish, mate. Don't be nice. Don't be generous. It
Yeah,
is
no.
shit.
Kendrick Nunn, I know, I feel like he is a solid player, but not on the Lakers. I don't see him doing something about him on the Lakers just doesn't seem right to me.
Yeah.
Like it should be a more veteran dude. And I know they've had their already issues with veterans in the last season, but they went from having the most veterans in the league to having absolutely no veterans. Like you got LeBron and AD running around now with Austin Reeves, Lonnie Walker, Stanley Johnson, and Wenyen Gabriel. Like those are all ass players that should probably be playing for the Illawarra Hawks. Why are they on the Los Angeles Lakers NBA team? Low-key, Austin Reeves could be good, though. He could be very good. But the others, no. Like, come on now. They need to get someone.
It sucks to be an LA fan right now because you're in a bit of a shit situation. You have a look at your team. Listen, you got LeBron James, Anthony Davis, two major stars. Can Anthony Davis stay healthy? That's something to have a debate about. We don't know about that really. It's hard. Is he going to stay healthy for the whole season or just at least for playoffs? But you look at the teams in the West, man, they're going to struggle. It's really hard. You look at Golden State, like compared to Golden State, they would get swept almost, man. Like they would not do well. They would get destroyed. And you could say that about a lot of teams. I reckon Mavs would beat them in a series. I reckon Memphis would demolish them.
Oh, well, the Lakers they might not even be a playing team right now.
Oh, yeah.
Because they didn't get any better in this off season at all. Like they legitimately did not get as even inch better. The only thing you'd probably say that they probably got better at is less injuries probably and more longevity in terms of players being able to last a season because they're not going to be 38-year-olds that are going to be sitting in a wheelchair anymore. So you've at least got maybe that. But what happens? So let's just say AD is injured, right? And let's just say they don't get a Westbrook trade-off. Westbrook is going to sit out, I think. I don't know if Westbrook is even going to play. Let's just say that AD is injured. LeBron gets injured this game. Who is going to win the game for the Los Angeles Lakers? You can have a starting five that includes Stanley Johnson, Wenyen Gabriel, and Austin Reeves. Not even off the bench anymore. That shit's coming into the starting five. Surely, if you're the Lakers right now, you would be actively every single day looking at players like Kemba Walker, Dennis Schroeder, working them out at least. Like, when was the last time you heard of the Los Angeles Lakers working out a guy like Kemba Walker? The last time I heard they were working out someone, it was Shaq's son. And I'm pretty sure he averaged 3 points in college. Is he going to be the savior? No, he signed with a G League Ignite team. He ain't saving nobody. The team is in shambles.
I don't know what the Lakers front office is really doing. Like, seriously, there's so much stuff they should be doing right now. Like you said, like it's ridiculous. If you cannot sort out a Kyrie Irving trade, then get off it. Do other stuff, all right? You're wasting like valuable time right now. You need to go out there, get the players you need. Get a Dennis Schroeder. Build some plays around LeBron and Davis. Get a bench.
Mm-hmm.
You got nothing. They're in a lot of strife. I don't know what they're doing. It's a joke.
Well, they don't even need to be worrying about Kyrie at the moment. They could legitimately, what they could do is they could try and trade for a bunch of players like Evan Fournier and Buddy Hield and all that type of stuff. Compete for the playoffs this year, because if you bring in those two players, you bring in Dennis Schroeder, maybe DeMarcus Cousins, all of these guys, right? You are making the play-in. I feel like that is a team that could legit make the playoffs and be a pretty solid team that actually wins a playoff or two, because at the end of the day, you'd have LeBron and AD with a decent supporting cast. Then what you can do is you can wait for the Brooklyn Nets to fall apart that season and then go and offer Kyrie some type of deal and work out a sign and trade in the next offseason. Because if Kyrie wants to get to the Lakers, then the Nets don't exactly have much choice in what they get back in return. I mean, flashback to Jimmy Butler being traded for Josh Richardson, right? That has happened. It has happened. Maybe don't look at Kyrie this season. Wait till next season. Because right now, I think the Lakers are worrying too much about LeBron re-signing. And there's only one other team straight up that I think LeBron would even think about. And I know it might sound biased. You know what's coming. The Cavaliers it'd be the one team he'd probably think about. Maybe the Clippers. I mean, that could low key because like it's LA, right? He still wants to make Space Jam 3.
If he did that, career over.
Career over.
If he
Space
went to
Jam
Clippers,
3.
oh my God.
But the honest thing would be to stay with the Lakers, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know why they're worrying so much.
It's just if they're not showing anything, because I'm a bit the opposite. I think it is a big deal. I think they really, it's September when they can re-sign him. They need to do something. They need to prove that LeBron, we're doing stuff to build around you. We're still getting you plays, man. We care about you.
That part is definitely true. I'm not saying that part's not true. I'm just saying I don't know if LeBron's he has as many like options as what the Lakers are thinking right there, because they're out here thinking that like if OKC collects the Infinity Stones, he's gonna go sign with OKC. He's not signing with OKC. You could have the most bum list in LA, and he's probably still gonna, be the ultimate plot twist. Sacramento relocate to Cincinnati and bring in LeBron. Ultimate plot twist that no one would ever think about, I reckon. All right, now that we've got that all talked about, we've released all our Lakers anger to what Rob Pelinka's doing. Screw Rob Pelinka, bro. I could literally do his job, no cap. The next one I want to talk about is the Boston Celtics right now, because this one has come out of nowhere. I don't know why, but it is being said right now that the Celtics are interested in Kevin Durant. And according to Shams, he says the Celtics made an offer for Kevin Durant that includes Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and a first-round pick. Brooklyn countered the offer, asking for Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, it's not Smart, Jesus Christ, draft picks, and potentially one more rotational player. As I said, Shams is a different breed today for some reason. Are the Celtics getting Kevin Durant? Brodie Davis-Zammit, tell me right now, because I remember people were saying this years ago that the Boston Celtics could be getting him. Years ago. And now it's back again. It's back again that they've got interested. They've got a different general manager now, and the franchise still wants the guy. But they might be, having to give up the smartest man in the NBA in Jaylen Brown. So tell me, does this happen? Is this a trade that you see going down?
It's crazy how greedy Brooklyn are right now. It's this. You've got an awesome trade package at Boston have sent you. You're talking about Jaylen Brown, some picks. I was shocked, man, when I saw that. I was like, what? That is the package Boston are offering? And the fact that Brooklyn just had the balls, man, to say, nah, we want Marcus Smart also. Like, listen, they got some balls, man. It's but it's just, I don't know. Like, I would definitely, it's if Boston can get Kevin Durant, my, that is a very, very good team. And I reckon, would I trade Jaylen Brown for Kevin Durant and plus other stuff? In a heartbeat. Like, we're talking about Kevin Durant here. If they do that package, that trade, they win a ring. There's no questions asked.
That's why Brooklyn are asking for more. Because they're saying to themselves, the first round pick is not going to be that good. Derek White, they probably don't even have a headband in the team shop that can fit that guy's forehead. And then Jaylen Brown is Jaylen Brown, right? They're probably saying to themselves, if we could get Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, and 3 or 4 first-round picks, that deal is worth it. And I think that's a win-win for both teams, because at the end of the day, if you're the Celtics, you're still rocking out a team that you could very well goddamn have a starting 5 that's Malcolm Brogdon, Jason Tatum, Kevin Durant, Robert Williams, and Al Horford. Right, it'd be the tallest starting 5 in the NBA, because you'd be seeing KD at like the 2, but holy shit, offensively and defensively, that would be insane. I don't even care if I have to see Kevin Durant guard the 2. That would be cracked. Absolutely cracked to see that happen. If you make that trade, the only thing stopping the Celtics from winning a championship is chemistry, I think.
Yeah.
Because even their bench would be stacked. They've still got a really good bench of good players. Like, you'd still have Derek White on that team. He would still be coming off that bench, you know?
It'd be a great team. Like, seriously, it's like you said, if you're up Boston, you probably have to think maybe we do give up Marcus Smart also. But if I was Boston right now, I'd be holding my ground, be confident that you've probably offered the best deal they've received. And just, I think there's a reason, like, this stuff doesn't get leaked unless, Brooklyn or Boston want it leaked, okay? I'm telling you, Brooklyn wanted this leaked. They wanted Shams to leak this. Now this is leaked. Toronto are now looking at this. Oh, what? That's a package they got sent. We can beat that, and they're gonna try and send a better one. That what they want to do, what Brooklyn want to create, is a bidding war. It's the same thing that Jazz want to do. They want to create a bidding war for Kevin Durant.
You don't think the Knicks could offer up 14 first-round picks and Julius Randle to get this done?
Oh God, no! There's no way we would have Kevin Durant in a Madison in a Knicks jersey. No way.
Yeah, I don't think.
Even if it was just,
you go.
Even if it was just for Randall straight swap, we wouldn't do it. Like, there's no way.
Come on now.
We're not taking Kevin Durant.
Come on now.
He can stay away from Knicks.
I think Knicks fans would rightfully give up their hatred if Kevin Durant helped him win a championship.
I would rightfully show him the door.
That's a big call. What about so this team has not even been interested, because I thought I'd bring him up so I go for him, but Cavs have no chance. You reckon we couldn't offer sneaky deal for Kevin Durant?
Getting Kevin Durant?
Yeah.
Listen, you definitely could. You could offer an awesome deal, but the reason why Cavs wouldn't want to do it, and would you want to do it, is Kevin Durant going to re-sign there?
Re-sign, yeah.
I
heard KD's got 3 years guaranteed.
Yeah,
he's got 3 years guaranteed. So it's whether or not he wants to get to that team, because he could just say, "Nah, I'll just sit out if you trade me to the Cavs."
Yeah,
but honestly, Brooklyn, I know it's gotten a whole lot better, but seriously, I feel like Cleveland wouldn't be as bad as some other places out there. And honestly, they've got a great fan base, great stuff going on. And Brooklyn would always look to themselves and they'd be like, hold on a second. Surely Colin Sexton, Larry Markin, and Karis LeVert, and like 7 first-round picks. That's a pretty good, goddamn good offer,
That's the thing. That's the thing with Cavs. You're doing that trade. If you don't win a win in that 3 years, you've screwed your franchise over.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant leaves. You're left with just Garland and Mobley. You got no picks.
Hey, that's pretty good, man. That's pretty good. Come on now.
You're not trying to be an asshole, but you're not getting any free agents. Yeah. You're stuffed.
It'd probably just be one of those playoff teams that gets bounced in the first round for a fair bit, because there'd be no room to move. You wouldn't be able to bring in role players to add to that team, because you'd be 4 or 5 first-round picks down. So, yeah, at the end of the day, it'd be like that.
We don't see teams trade up to 5 picks plus. That rarely happens. I think the record is 5 picks or 6 picks. First-round picks, I'm talking.
6 picks was done for
Minnesota.
Paul George.
Oh, Paul George.
I think was 6 first-round picks or so. Anthony Davis was also... I feel like AD ended up being 7 first-round picks, because it ended up being 3 normal first-round picks and like 4 pick swaps or something.
Oh, I'm not counting the pick swaps. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Because the reason I think pick swaps are actually so crucial is because you can't actually trade a pick swap until it's been confirmed what pick, what team has. Because like people think the Lakers right now only have 2 first-round picks they can trade till 2029. But once they finish where they finish this year, let's just say they finish lower than the Pelicans, then they get whatever pick the Pelicans have, right? Let's just say Pelicans, have the 24th pick, they get that pick now. So they could always trade that for someone else down the line. I think that's how it works, at least, because I think they own their pick this year or something. But when it comes, again, we'll revert back to what the Celtics are doing right now. I feel like 4 first-round picks for Kevin Durant for them. If you're the Celtics, I also feel like Boston would be in a place where KD might want to re-sign. It's very close to New York. I feel like Boston is a lot closer to New York than a team like Minnesota, which is very far away. So I don't know if he still somehow has that New York connection, still has friends there, still has his house there and all that stuff. It's really not that much of a reach to Boston. So I could see it happening, but man, I don't know. I just feel like trading Jaylen Brown away, there's something wrong with that. There's got to be something wrong with trading away a top 20 player, top 15 player, maybe some might want to argue, for a dude that's not a guaranteed to even like it in your city.
You've got to do it though. It's it's that team wins a chip. Let's just put into perspective how good that team would be. Like you got Malcolm Brogdon in the point guard. You got shooting guard. Oh god, that's when you get really small.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying. Kevin Durant,
Very tall,
really
very
big,
tall. Yeah,
really big.
Can the Celtics not win the championship now though?
It's a chance
Because they added Malcolm Brogdon and Danilo Gallinari. Surely that made their team way better.
It did. It definitely did, and it's a chance. It's just that would you rather? Like we're talking about Kevin Durant. It's I don't know. It's hard, man. Like if I'm Boston right now, I'd do it. But Marcus Smart also. I would be trying my hardest to hold on to Marcus Smart. Wouldn't be wanting to trade both of them.
Yeah. If I'm the Celtics, I'm not making this trade because I think a team of Malcolm Brogdon at the 1, Smart at the 2, Brown at the 3, Tatum at the 4, Al Horford as the 5, and then you'd have Robert Williams at the 5. Sorry, then you bring in Al Horford and Derek White off the bench, etc., etc. They're still a championship team right now. Like I think they took the Warriors to 6, right? Well, the Warriors got worse in the offseason. The Celtics got better. So if you're the Celtics, wouldn't you say run this back? Think about it. Who did the Warriors sign? And look at all the players they lost. They're banking on their young core right now to really get a whole lot better. They're banking on James Wiseman to take that and finally take a step. They're banking on Jonathan Kuminga to be the defensive guy they want him to be. And look, this is all going to happen. But the Warriors will have slightly got worse, I think, at the end of the day. And the Celtics got a whole lot better.
Golden State's biggest thing right now is just to re-sign Wiggins. They want to re-sign Wiggins. That's their big thing right now. I can't remember when he's a free agent, but it's definitely soon. It might be next year, if I remember correctly.
Probably.
That's the biggest thing. They have to re-sign Wiggins. They won't want to lose him, especially for free. If they want to trade Wiggins, whatever. But they don't want to lose him. Keep him. You got Jordan Poole. They got some good young players. I don't think they're expecting much from Wiseman this year. I think it's more Kuminga to take a big step. Jordan Poole to keep playing how he's playing.
Jordan Poole hasn't been re-signed yet.
Oh, hasn't he?
No, he's still on the 1-year, $4 million deal.
Oh, wow.
How weird is that? That's led some people to say that Kevin Durant would be a good one for the Warriors too.
I was saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I made a video on that. I made a couple of videos on that.
I do like
I had
it.
to talk about it. Yeah, I had to talk about it. It was in the news and it was being talked about right now. People are saying as well, people are making the argument that Jaylen Brown played better in the playoffs than what Kevin Durant did.
Are people forgetting how good Durant did play? I know they got swept and all, but man, he killed it.
Not a valid argument.
No, not a valid argument.
All right. We also got the Colin Sexton situation, who has also not been re-signed. By far the best available free agent at the moment, besides maybe Miles Bridges, but come on now. No, I don't know. I don't know.
He's like getting signed for a long, long time.
Yeah, probably not that. He'll probably get that qualifying deal, and get waived or banished to Utah. Who knows what's going to be getting banished to Detroit as well. Who even knows what's going to be going on with that situation? He just might never play again. But Colin Sexton has yet to be re-signed. It was officially confirmed what the Cavaliers offered him. And this is pretty bad because people have made a lot of arguments and people are flat out calling the NBA for not offering this dude deals. He got offered $40 million for 3 years, which checks out to $13.3 million. And statistically, Colin Sexton's best season in the NBA was better than Jalen Brunson's. And Jalen Brunson got offered a max contract, and Colin Sexton is getting chicken scraps. What do you make out of this deal? Is Colin Sexton being absolutely destroyed by the NBA? Are they putting him in this narrative that he's just such a bad ball mover, he's a hog? Or is the narrative valid? Because I don't see a way where he's worth $13.3 million, even as much of a ball hog as he might be. Surely 18 plus. Come on.
It's probably in the middle. I think he's probably worth like $17 million, maybe $18 million exactly. I wouldn't be giving him much more than that. Depending on how many years as well. I'm not giving him a 5 year. We can't give him 5 years, a 4-year deal, maybe a 3-year deal, or 2 years plus a team option. It's, it's like you said, better stats than Brunson. That is massive. And Brunson to sign this massive, humongous, descending deal of starting with like $27 million. Like he's on a massive contract. And then you look at Colin Sexton and he's on peanuts. Well, he's got nothing. Sorry.
You know why as well? People are saying, oh, but Colin Sexton's stats are better than Brunson. He's a better player than Brunson. Well, no. What Brunson did in the playoffs was absolutely insane. And the thing with Brunson is that his stats might be lower than what Sexton's is, but you got to remember what he's doing for his teammates, the spacing that he's doing on the court, and the stats that he is giving other players. Like, he might be 7 points down than what Colin Sexton is per game from that season. Sexton average. I think Sexton averaged like 23 or 24 that year. But at the end of the day, Jalen Brunson's probably creating much more than 7 points for his team by just spacing the floor, playmaking, and the ball movement that guy generates is probably much better than what Colin Sexton has produced in the NBA right now. My worry is that Colin Sexton, I think there is going to be a team that offers him $20 million. I think there's going to be a team that's just waiting right now. I have a feeling the Cavs might accept it, but if they don't, there's going to be a team out there that gets Colin Sexton for $20 million a year. And if they get his ball movement and that right, it could low-key be an absolute steal in free agency because he still has room to be a very good player in the NBA. I'm just not sure what team will do that. There's been suggestions that the Jazz, once they move all their guards out and all their veterans and that, he would be the first young piece that they add to their team on their new rebuild. There's been suggestions that the Spurs, they want to tank for that Victor Wembanyama Taco Bill dude. And bringing in Colin Sexton, I don't think is going to stop them from tanking for that guy. And then there's, of course, the Mavericks as an instant Jalen Brunson replacement. Did I miss a team, Zamet? Or are those the only 3 teams that could be interested in Colin Sexton?
I personally don't see Utah. Again, I'm really big on the Utah saying Utah do not want any player that they have to offer a lot of money to that's young unless they think they are the first option on a good team. They want to tank for a couple of years. They are not wanting to win games. Maybe Indiana? I could see them go to Indiana. What's the cap with Indiana right now? See, that's one thing
Indiana
I'm not too
still
sure
have
about.
$21 million, $21 to $27 million available. People are wondering how they actually did this, and I don't know either. I think what they did is, I think they had like an $8 million exception or something.
Yeah.
And what they've done is they've traded Malcolm Brogdon away, who was on $18 million. And they brought in Daniel Tice and all of this stuff, but they've somehow like bent the cap backwards where I don't know how they managed to get $26 million because they're still paying Hill 24. They're still paying Turner 18. A lot of these players are getting paid. So I don't know how they've done it, but they've somehow combined, I think, what was a player option with players that they've also traded away. And a part of me thinks that Indiana might not be done because I think they might be trading Hill, all of those. They're still looking at the Lakers for that deal. You could be right on Indiana. Would Halliburton and Sexton go well together? Because from what it looks to me now is they might be looking to start Halliburton at the 1, Duarte at the 2, and then Mathurin at the 3.
I think Indiana are willing to risk anything. I could definitely see them being a big piece for Sexton. If it might not happen for a couple of weeks still, but I could definitely see them being, we would for sure offer Sexton $20 million just to see, you know what I mean? If not, if he plays how he played last year in Cleveland, then that's a tradable contract. It's not like that's some massive, oh no, that's a really bad contract now. No, not really. He was still good enough to
per
be
game year, which was the
yeah,
season
like
before.
that's a tradable contract. That's not a bad contract. He definitely needs to improve on a lot of things to progress his game more. But
Yep.
yeah, I could see Indiana. I reckon that's definitely a team that you could see for Colin Sexton.
They also took weeks to offer DeAndre Ayton a deal. So that could be true. They could be like really, really waiting to see if that goes down. Is there any other team that comes to your mind right now? Because I'm not overly sure. I feel like the Clippers could be an interesting one. You know, if they were able to trade away a
It's
Luke
hard with
Kennard
their
and
cap.
stuff to
That's
try
the
and
only
match up
issue.
contracts, could be an interesting one.
Yeah, like you kind of just said, there's cap isn't an issue. You can always do sign and trades and stuff like that. Like cap isn't an issue nowadays. You can always figure out a way. If you really want to play it, there's a way.
Yeah. Do you think the Spurs could be an interesting one? Because the way I see is Colin Sexton if he gets added to a team like the Clippers or something, he automatically makes them better because they've got players around, he's around players now. If he goes to the Spurs, he becomes their number one option and he's going to get into that bad habit of just putting up 80 shots a game and being 45% from the field, this and that. So I don't think that stops them from necessarily tanking a whole lot. So that's my idea for the Spurs.
The big thing with Spurs, they would be wanting to make sure that Sexton doesn't play too good, that they start winning a lot of games, which not trying to, disregard Sexton at all, but like you just said, I don't see that happening. I reckon he can play really well, but I don't think that's going to impact Spurs winning record or too much in particular.
Yeah, because the lowest winning record of last season was the Rockets were 20-62. And my thinking is, I think the Spurs will be about the 18-64 mark right now. Because even though Greg Popovich is a good coach, people don't realize what they've just lost in this offseason. They lost DeJounte Murray. They ended up bringing in Danilo Gallinari, who they lost. They just got rid of straight up. They shipped out a couple of role players that low-key still played like 20 minutes per game for them this season, like Lonnie Walker and Jock Landale. They really, really got a whole lot worse, and they're purposely trying to get worse. Colin Sexton definitely wins them like 4 to 6 more games, I think, because you finally have a shot creator on that team. But even that would still be the last or second last team in the NBA. So
that'd be fine. I reckon at that point you may as well just take a stab at it and see what happens. You know what I mean? Again, if it doesn't work out in a year or two, again, you can trade him. There's no issue with that. Players will be interested, and teams will be interested, not players. Yeah. But yeah, like I could definitely see Spurs.
Do you think Sacramento would take a stab at Colin Sexton?
Oh, I would hope not.
For Colin Sexton's sake or Sacramento's sake?
Sacramento's sake. Not saying Sexton's bad and all, but I just don't think they need him. It's like if you just pull up the roster right now, it's not needed. It's Davion Mitchell, Fox, Malik Monk. It's just you're pushing it. You wouldn't be getting Keegan Murray. I know he's a forward and all, but it's just you're pushing it. You're not going to see you're not going to see the full potential of what Sexton can actually be on a team behind Fox and Davion Mitchell and stuff.
Most Sacramento thing to ever do is to trade Keegan Murray in a first for Colin Sexton. Most Sacramento thing you'll ever see. And the Cavs say, thanks. Thank you, goodbye. What about
surprise me, man?
What about the Washington Wizards, who are yet to have a point guard? as of this video, I think they're starting Bradley Beal at the 1 and Johnny Davis at the 2, who, might I add, contrary to popular belief, Johnny Davis is not a porn star, even though his name sounds like one. I'm onto that guy. Not sexually, but I'm onto him. I know that name is very familiar. So, but yeah, they don't have a point guard right now.
I don't mind the Washington. That's actually not bad at all. I don't mind that one, eh?
Yeah, you finally let Sexton start at point guard, which he hasn't been able to do since his rookie season.
Yeah.
He finally gets to guard the 1.
You'd have a lot of young players, that's for sure. You're talking about Denny Adija, Rui, Kyle Kuzma.
Who do you think the Cavaliers would ask for in return? Do you think we'd go after because surely they would you'd think the Wizards would be able to do this, because who are they even paying? I know Beal is on the super max and Kristaps is on the max, and I think Kuzma is on like $14 million. But surely there's got to be some type of cap room or something going on there. I don't know what they do.
I don't think they have much cap space. I'm pretty sure they're negative.
That's so sad for them, seriously. And they gave away KCP too. They sent him off to Denver, I think, and he straight up signed an $11 million deal over there.
Yeah. I'm trying to get yeah, so let's have a look here. I'm trying to get the cap up for these players. So you got Bradley Beal on 43 mil pretty much. Kristaps on 30 mil. Will Barton on 14. Kuzma on 13.
They have Will Barton.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the Wizards have these most random ass players that you don't even know play for them. When the hell did Will Barton get on the Washington Wizards? You know what? This is what I'm saying. I don't understand how they made this happen.
It's just, it's honestly, I don't mind the Wizards team. Like, they got some young players. It is a bit random. You do see some players and you're like, what are you thinking, man? But I don't mind it. Some of them I don't mind. They'll recently
probably have the best bench in the league, though, won't they? Nearly the best bench.
They'll probably be up there, man.
Because you'd have Will Barton, Hachimura, Daniel Gafford, Monte Morris, Corey Kispert, all coming off that bench. That's a decent starting 5 in the NBA alone. Like,
yeah, I think the Knicks have. I don't know, this is biased, but I reckon the Knicks will have the best bench. If we don't trade for Donovan, it's by far the best one.
You guys got
if we trade for Donovan
on that bench.
Debatable. Look at our bench. You're talking about Derrick Rose, Obi Toppin, Reddish, Fournier, Harkenstein. It's Jericho Sims.
Did you see my video? I made a video talking about how Hartenstein is one of the most underrated signings in the offseason.
He's good, man.
I went into valid depth on why that was a good deal.
He's a great signing. He will be awesome, be able to stretch the floor a bit, and just he's also a good defender, man. Like he's a great signing.
He'll start half the games for you guys this year, I think. Because I have a feeling Robinson's gonna break his thumb or something. Like he always does.
He's the backup
somehow.
If Robinson gets injured, then he will start.
Yeah. That's pretty evident. But yeah, dude, I feel like, wow. The Cavaliers Will Barton would be good for the Cavs, but I don't know if he'll be allowed to get traded. I'm pretty sure Will Barton's probably going to be on some trade cooldown at the moment.
Yeah.
Because he probably got sent there a couple of weeks ago. They probably can't trade him for a bit. I don't know. But he would be a good one for the Cavs to go after. If we could draw in a first-round pick, Will Barton, and maybe a couple seconds or something for Colin Sexton, I'd do that if I was the Cavs. I think the Jazz would 100% do that too. You finally get a starting point guard, especially one of that age.
Yeah.
He could also put up 20 points per game. Ridiculous. I actually like that. Why have I never thought of the Wizards going for Colin Sexton? That is a great move by them.
The Wizards are the Wizards. I think the Wizards, Indiana, they're Spurs. They're the 3 teams I really like for Sexton.
Yep, there you go. Do you have any trade stuff that you want to talk about personally? Anything on your mind?
Not massively, man. The only thing in my head right now is Donovan, mate. All right. I can't keep my excitement. All right.
Yeah, we've kind of been through everything. I mean, and that's quite a bit. Like, that's really Shams reported this all in one day for some reason. Like, we went through such a dry week or two, and Shams just came out and gave us a dictionary full of news and information. So I think we'll call it here. You've got work tomorrow. I've got editing to do. But I want to thank you for coming on. This has been a long time coming. We should do it again or revitalize your podcast. Let's make something happen.
Oh, I want to get back into it, man. I definitely do. It's just so hard for time.
I know you won't sell me that microphone. Someone bullied me in the comments the other day for owning these headphones in 2022. And these are good headphones. It's still got good quality, still good. Like
A40s?
I think they're A20s or something.
A20s, okay.
Yeah. And like the microphone quality is still probably better than most of the things I've heard. You got the headphones are still good. And honestly, I did text that guy and I just said, get off my doodle, bro. Like, what are you doing? You're pissing me off. But yeah, well, thank you guys for watching this podcast. Do I link your channel down below? What am I doing?
Yeah, yeah. I want to get back into it at some stage, man. So
you know what you should do? You should text Caden and tell him to do a video.
Yeah, definitely might have to do that.
Have you spoken to Caden as of late?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. A little bit.
Because I was thinking about texting him the other day because I haven't spoken to him in about a year and a half or so. And I think it would be, or even a year, I guess. I think it'd be funny to get him on the podcast and just chat shit because I know he would 100% be down. So you might beat me to it, but I'm not sure. I might give him a text pretty soon. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel. Go to subscribe to Zamet's channel. Links for my Clips channel as well, all down below. If you're listening on podcast, I don't know what can you do on podcast on Spotify. Probably not a whole lot.
You can follow.
You can give me a follow. There you go. Follow my Instagram. Do all that. Like, subscribe, and comment. We'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.